Welcome to that Spirit and Coffee. Got my coffee here. Mm-hmm. Yummo. Good coffee. Yum coffee. Mm-mm-mm. Good. Okay, let's get started. I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in forever, um, and ever. Um, so super excited to be on here this morning. Lots of things happening. Life is getting busy. Life is, it's hard to keep up with everything, isn't it? I need a maid to come clean the house. I need so much. Anyway, it's okay. It will all get done, right? God's timing. Also, time to relax and rest. And I just feel like I'm on the go. But okay, let's take a look and see what we have. Okay. We're on the Four Agreements, page 82. And good morning, Cara. And so let's get going. So, action is about living fully. Inaction is the way that we deny life. Inaction is sitting in front of the television every day for years because you're afraid to be alive and to take the risk of expressing what you are. Expressing what you are is taking action. You can have many great ideas in your head, but what makes the difference is the action. Without action upon an idea, there will be no manifestation, no results, and no reward. And we were talking about action and what that looks like. So we talk about, it's funny because we talk about doing the things that we want to do. We write down the things that we want to do. We do vision boards around the things that we want to do. And then some people, not all, but some people think that because they've done that, that's the action, that's enough. And now all of a sudden, everything that they wrote down should just magically happen. Not how it works. The magic happens in the actions that we take towards the goals that we're doing. What happens oftentimes is people lose their inspiration, motivation, determination. They get bored, they get burnt out, they don't think it's going to work, they tell themselves negative things, they listen to naysayers. All of this stuff starts to happen as we start to live towards our purpose, as we begin to try to figure out how we're going to create this big, massive thing that we want in our life. Okay. Good morning, Sarah Miskin. Good morning, PBG72E7. Good morning, Rochelle1238. Good morning, whoever is on Facebook Live. Oh, my nose itches. Sorry. Okay, a good example of this comes from the story about Forrest Gump. He didn't have great ideas, but he took action. He was happy because he always did his best, whatever he did. He was richly rewarded without expecting any reward. Taking action is being alive. It's taking the risk of going out and expressing your dream. This is different than imposing your dream on someone else because everybody has the right to express his or her dream. What they mean by imposing on everybody else, which we sometimes do. I've done it a lot. I've had to learn this lesson in my life quite a bit. Excuse me as I take a sip of my coffee. Not everybody. Okay, good morning, said. Not everybody has the same dream as you. In fact, nobody can have the same dream as you. Why? Because we're all separate. We're all different. And we're all doing our life. We're all having our own perception about life. We're all having our own perception about how to interact and engage with the perception and the phenomena that we see around us. So everybody's way of seeing life is different. Our dreams, our aspirations, and the way that we want to create and manifest those are going to be different for each individual. Sometimes people will align in their vision. The alignment of vision doesn't mean they have the exact vision that you have. It just means that they're there to support or supplement the pieces that maybe you don't have. That doesn't mean they have to agree with everything that you do. And it doesn't mean that they have to do every project that you're doing. Okay. Good morning, Fatty 660. The thing is that okay, and I've done this several times for my life, so I can talk from personal experience. If you guys have personal experience, want to chime in, please do. I would try to enroll people into my vision all the time, constantly. I've done so many different things, so many different projects, trying to get closer to what my divine purpose is. And then when I would come, or people would come with me and they wouldn't see it exactly like me, I'm like, no. But the reality is they had their own set of ideas and visions and what they wanted to create. So I had to learn to be okay with the fact that not everybody sees the vision the way I do, and that's okay. They're not going to. It's mine. It's not theirs. They have their own. But we can support, good morning, Doreen. We can support one another and leverage one another's abilities and skills and strengths so that we can then all start to co-create into our own personal dreams and aspirations. But that takes what? It takes action. It takes us actually doing something with it. Now, good morning, Rosie. The thing is people think they have to know how to start. Okay, you've heard this from several people, right? I'm not saying anything new. I'm just saying you've got to start. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's not going to look pretty when you start. It's not. Nothing ever does. When you first rode your bike, it didn't look pretty. You fell off a few times before you got it. But that didn't mean you stopped, right? You had this determination to figure it out so that you could go riding with your friends, so that you can have some freedom to leave a little bit closer, right? Because think about a bike, right? A bike is within the neighborhood. Now think about not having a bike. We start to walk and it takes longer to get where we want. Well, now our proximity, our area, the space that we can cover is bigger and we have freedom. So we say, oh, it's the freedom. It's the ability to be disconnected from the close places that I'm fun and explore. And we're determined not because of the task that we're doing, but because we have this motivation to feel free. We have this motivation to move forward. We have this motivation to connect with our friends that are down the road that we couldn't get to before. It took longer, or we couldn't stay as long because it took 30 minutes to walk, and now on a bike it takes 5. So now we can stay even longer, whatever it is. Okay. But it you see that the distance actually gets shorter. So as you guys continue to be in action, as you guys continue to learn how to manifest the dreams that you want or have, or the desires that you want, the time from you to do that when you start gets shorter and shorter. And one of them is just recognizing how to leverage the resources of others rather than make them have the same passion about your dream. They're not, no one will ever have your same passion about your dream because they're not you. They're not living in your body. You are. You can excite people about your vision, and people may want to support in certain ways, and then you take that support and they might be enrolled in and then want to grow or branch off from whatever it is that you inspired them to do. But to impose ours, that everybody needs to live our dream, that's not true. Nobody has to do anything. Okay? Doing your best is a great habit to have. I do my best in everything I do and feel. Doing my best has been the ritual in my life because I have made the choice to make it a ritual. It is a belief like any other belief that I choose. I make everything a ritual, and I always do my best. Taking a shower is a ritual for me, and with that action, I tell my body how much I love it. I feel and enjoy the water on my body. I do my best to fulfill the needs of my body. I do my best to give my body um, and to receive what my body gives to me. In India, they perform a ritual called puja. In this ritual, they take idols that represent God in many different forms and bathe them, feed them, and give their love to them. They even chant mantras to these idols. The idol itself is not important. What is important is the way you perform the ritual, the way that you say, I love you, God. Okay? So rituals are critical for us. Those are practices too. You can call them practices. Um, and it's how you engage the practice. Now, practices can go to the spiritual realm of, like it said, chanting or whatever. But Practices aren't just that. Practices are everything that's trying to get you closer to your God self, closer to the divine self of who you are, closer to what's going to support you get where you need to go. Those are the practices, the drivers, the things that get you just a little bit closer to your divine self. Good morning, Edwin. Good morning, Z Iris. Good morning, Dendro Benjamin. I don't know where that's from. Good morning, Black Angel. Good morning, Chinka. Okay, so pujas. I usually think that these are like prayers. Is what I thought. God is life. Life is in action. The best way to say I love you, God, is to live your life doing your best. The best way to say thank you, God, is by letting go of the past and living in the present moment, right here, right now. Whatever life, that darn alarm. Whatever life takes away from you, let it go. When you surrender, we've talked about surrender quite a bit. Let go of the past and allow yourself to be fully alive in the moment. Letting go of the past means you can enjoy the dream that is happening right now. Okay. So living right now, being present, right? Hot. Ooh, for getting hot flashes. Okay. Living in the present moment. Living in the present is not an easy thing either. How do we live in the present moment? We typically will go to the past or live in the future. I tend to live in the future more than the past. It's not, I think, important for you to understand where your subconscious mind takes you. If you understand your subconscious mind, it's easier to get to the present. So I would say asking yourself, how do I bring myself to the present moment so that I can start to generate, create everything that I need to? So basically, I would say asking yourself a few questions. When you're in your head and you're doing your thinking, are you thinking about what is to happen? Are you thinking about what has happened? Where does your mind wander? Does it wander backwards or forward? If you're backwards or forward, you're not in the present moment. Is it wrong to be backwards or forward? Not at all. But it does, okay, so the spiritual currency that I talked about, it does cause us to be in a spiritual currency that's non serving to us at times. Good morning, Betty. So, Betty, I am off on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And perhaps I could just drop by your house. That would be great on maybe Wednesday or Thursday. So the present moment, right, is the ability to recognize what's happening in this instance. If we're in the past, we're tangling up our time, right, in things that have already happened. Can't change those things. If we're in the future, we're placing our energy on something that hasn't happened. Now, we can use the past to support us in the present, and we can use the future to help us set goals. We project out into the future, and that's okay. And we kind of look towards the past for those historical clues that kind of drive us in a direction either way, which is not bad. So you can use them as navigation tools in some ways, but to stay there, it doesn't become a navigation tool. When you stay in the present or the past, all it does is it tangles up your time so that you're not creating what it is that you want to create because you're too busy projecting. There's no action happening in the present moment except projection. So you've got to say, what am I doing right now in this instance to help me get to that goal? And vice versa. If you're looking in the past, maybe you're not letting go of something. Typically, people that live in the past, and it's funny because it all is interconnected. And I've told you guys before, it's interconnected even to our health. Most alcoholics live in the past. I didn't say all because I don't know all. But most alcoholics live in the past. They talk about the past. They get stuck in the past. And it leads to liver issues and it leads to all kinds of issues. People who live in the future have anxiety, typically, heart issues. So there is a connection, a correlation between how we, our body, our vessel, manifest this outward. Because again, all of this that I'm talking about is how it shows up in the physical world. We can talk about the concepts all day, but I'm telling you, in the physical world, it does show up. It will show up, and you're like, oh, let's see. No, it actually, literally, will show up in our bodies as sickness, as illness, as it shows up in the subconscious mind. It manifests in the present mind, and then we engage life because the subconscious mind is sort of the driving factor of how we're maneuvering through life. And then it sort of creates this thing for us. If we get tangled up in the past or the future, we cannot be in the present moment. We can't even begin to do our best in the present moment if we're so worried about what happened before and what happened, what's going to happen. So it's kind of a tricky thing, right, to get ourselves to the present moment. It's not an easy thing, and that's why I'm going to read The Power of Now next, because the self-awareness and being present is the first step. Awareness and presence is the first step for us to create our divine birthright. If you can't do that, you're never going to get there, because how would you know? You wouldn't, because you wouldn't be aware. And to be aware is to start to get closer to wisdom, to that understanding, to get through the knowledge and the concepts and actually start to move in action. So action is critical. It's all interconnected to everything I just said. Action, action, action. You can reflect when you need to. You can adjust and recenter yourself if you need to, and then continue to go. So it's a combination of everything. It's not just about the present. Everybody's like, be in the present, be in the present, be in the present. Yes, that is all that's happened. However, sometimes looking at the past can help us to create a future that might look a little bit different. And if we don't have goals and aspirations to live for, move toward, where are we going? We're going to be in chaos. So it is good to have that, but don't stay there. Okay. And be in action in this moment of how you're moving the needle towards those goals that you've created for yourself. How? Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot. You know, I used to think I have to do it all at once. And now I'm getting that it's not going to be all at once. And it's okay if it's not all at once. And that when you take those baby steps, and as long as you're treading forward, eventually you have an empire that's built. A little at a time. One brick at a time. Setting the foundation so that the foundation is so solid that nothing can tear it apart. Okay? Those baby step actions are helping. Little baby steps. Little. They have to be big. Tiny, tiny, tiny steps. Move it forward. Okay? Perfect. Alrighty then. So we're going to continue on tomorrow. We are almost done, I think, with this book. I always say that, and then it's like 2 months later or something. But let's see, we have just a few more pages of this, and then we have Breaking Old Agreements, which that's probably the hardest one, Heaven on Earth, and then the last chapter, which is Prayers. And then we'll be done. And then we'll go on to The Power of Now, and we'll continue Spirit and Coffee. But I am excited. Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Nana. Good morning. I think I said Evan Eslak. Good morning, Kia. Good morning, Masai. Good morning, Goofy. I don't think Goofy's still on here. They come and go. But if Goofy's on here, just know that Goofy is one of my favorite characters. I would marry Goofy. in human form because I'm goofy. Okay, so there you go. Um, TV for you time. Thank you for your time. Oh, I thought the TV. Um, this screen is very dark, Betty. So I'm like, wait, what did it say? I can't read that. Yeah. Thank you for your time. I appreciate your time. Um, and okay, so there you have it. That's what it is today. So really start thinking about what your dreams, your aspirations are. Ask yourself, am I projecting those on others? Not my job to do that. How do I co-create with other people and support them with their dreams as well as my own dreams? And then also the past and the present. How do I bridge those together to work in the future so that I'm not tangling up my time to be inactive? I want to be in action, working towards my goals a little bit at a time. Okay, there you go. So that's a synopsis of everything we talked about. I know sometimes it seems like I'm going off in the weeds, but I'm not because it's all interconnected. Good morning, Rick. It is all interconnected. It does all come together. Nothing is separate. So if I tell a story that seems like it's way out, it's because there's some context that's going to lead up to the now, because there's baby steps that get you to the now, to what I'm talking about, or to that. How do we be in action? Well, there's a lot of different ways because we fall off. So there's going to be different ways of expressing that. So there you go. Bridging the past and the present into the future to be in action so that you can project your dreams for the sake of yourself while co-creating with other people, but not forcing them into your dreams. That's not how it works, okay? So I hope that supports you. Okay, so there you go. I will be seeing you guys obviously tomorrow, of course. And if I fall off a little bit, I apologize. Things are getting crazy. I'm trying to keep up with myself. There's a lot going on. I have a lot of moving parts. But just know that I love you guys. I'm here for you. If you need extra support, please reach out to me. I'm always here. Okay? So I love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Have a fantastical day. And I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Okay? Bye.